YouTube, what is up? What is happening? We're back at it with vlog number 2 of Peak Week. We are officially 5 days out of my natural classic physique bodybuilding show. Second show I've done. If you didn't catch yesterday's episode, go check it out. I lay out the framework of my prep, biggest lessons I've learned. But today we are in the gym. First time the YouTube channel is seeing my home garage gym. I'm pretty excited to show it all to you. Even though we're not done, we're not completely set up, it kind of looks like a mess. We're still gonna be getting this mic'd up workout in. And I'm gonna be showing you one of the biggest tools that I've used this prep that you can integrate into your own fitness goals. Something that I'm gonna be putting out there for the people, for you to use for free. So without further ado, let's get to the video. We're gonna get this pull session in and I'm gonna drop some knowledge bombs on you all the way through. Let's do it. Kicking this pull day off with my band warm-up. I love band warm-ups, man. Whether it's a push or pull day, it always just feels right. Good way to loosen up, get some blood flow going. So I'm gonna kick it off with some of these band pull-throughs, as I call them. I do this on every upper day to open up the shoulders, and then we get into some band pull-aparts. Just kind of get the scapula running, feel my back contracting. In this pull session, I'm gonna be hitting 3 back movements. So I'm gonna be doing a lat prayer or a straight arm pull down. I'm gonna be hitting some seated rows and some lat pull downs. And then we're gonna get into rear delts and biceps to cap it off. And like I mentioned in the intro, I'm gonna show you while I'm resting my prep cheat sheet that I've used all throughout the prep. It's gonna be a Google Sheet that you can just download for free and use exactly as you'd like. And that will be linked down below in the description of the video. So just wanna put out a free resource for you guys to give back, because I remember as I was coming up, it's like, as a young guy, you might be strapped for cash and you don't have the funds to pay for like a membership website, or you know, you're just getting into fitness and you're finding what works for you. This little prep cheat sheet, Excel sheet that I'll be showing you guys in between my working sets is something that I hope you can get a lot out of and use it as you see fit. So let's get to it. I'm gonna hit one more set of these and then we're gonna start with lat pull downs. All right, team, we are kicking it off with the Elite FTS lat pull down. Got the prime handle set up and we're shooting for something 10 to 15 repetitions. Probably gonna hit 3 sets here. I'm not gonna do any axial loading because my lower back is sore from posing. We're gonna keep this mostly machine cable based for both back and biceps. So let's go ahead and hit this first set. Got the Joseph Capriati B2B Adam Bayer set ripping in the background, which you're probably getting blasted by right now. Who cares if we get copyrighted? Smooth, bro. While we rest between sets, I wanted to pop in and show you all my prep cheat sheet, which has been an invaluable tool for me throughout this whole process. There's a free copy for you to download. It won't have my information filled in. It's gonna be blank with the framework, but you can fill it out similarly to how I filled this out, because I'm gonna go in depth and explain the ins and outs of how I've set this thing up to help me accomplish the goal, and you can follow along and do the exact same thing. Let's get back to the training session. So next in the session, we are gonna be hitting straight arm pull downs or lat prayers, depending on your prerogative, on the Rep Fitness PR3000. I've reviewed all of these pieces in the past, so if you're ever interested in garage gym content, I have plenty of that back in like 2021 and 2022. The thing about this functional trainer, it's not very tall, so you'll see me very much so hinged back, but that's okay. The goal here is to get a fucking gnarly stretch on the lats and really work for that lengthened position contraction. So we're gonna hit 3 sets here with the straight arm pull downs. Let's get to business. Post-edit Dave checking in here, people. I realized the audio cut on these straight arm pull downs, and I didn't want you all to have to sit in an awkward silence. So I wanted to give you a few cues that I learned from IFBB Pro Jared Feather. Went out to Las Vegas and was able to train with Jared. I actually did a YouTube video, so you should check that out. But really feel as though your lats are stretching forward, like this bar is pulling you forward and you're not leaving anything in the tank. And initiate the movement with the lats. Don't cheat. A few quick tips there. Now let's talk about the phasic structure, and I'll show you how you can apply this to your goals. So you can see my prep officially started at the 2nd week of February. So what you can do is plan out a phase or a span of weeks, could be 8 weeks, could be 12 weeks, that you are going to dedicate toward a certain goal. So I also go into each training phase within those time blocks because I ran several mesocycles, which is like a program or a block of training. So I had a push legs pull split, and effectively I went to 6-day-a-week training so I could keep my calorie expenditure high, and my nutrition of course was in a calorie deficit, kind of to be assumed and to be hit on later. Effectively then I took a deload week at the end of March when Daniela and I went to Ultra, which is a music festival in Miami. So you want to phasically structure a block of training. Maybe you say it's 4 weeks long, and then you'll potentially take a deload or give yourself a little break from the gym where you back off the intensity. And I think it's important for those deloads or those break periods to correspond with fun life events, whether it be a vacation or other things. They don't always have to be fun. They don't always get to be fun. But you want to position your goals in phasic structures. You'll see I had my first block of training, and you'll see I had a second phase of a training program with different priorities, different exercise selection, etc. So let's say your diet is going to be 12 weeks long this summer. What you can do is break that down into a few chunks. Maybe you say a 5-week training block, a deload, and then a 5 or 6 week training block at the end. And I think if you map out that overarching structure to your goal, it breaks it down in more bite-sized chunks, which really helps to just make the whole thing more digestible. With that being said, I'm hungry for the pump. Let's get back to the training session. All right, guys, we had to pop the lid off. It was getting a little sweaty in here. And we got the actual speakers set up in the corner. So we're bumping some juicy techno music. About to hit some seated rows on the Elite FTS, lat pull, low row. So let's get to it. This next page is something that everybody should pay close attention to, and that is the body weight weigh-ins. I'm a big fan of weighing in 3 times a week. For me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the easiest. I'll take the average of those weigh-ins and I'll note that. So you'll see back in February, started at 207, and I just hit 3 weigh-ins a week. I get my average, and then I can see week to week how the averages are moving. If my weight loss is at 0.5 to 1% of my body weight a week, that was money. I think that's a great range for everybody to run. So like, for example, if you weigh 200 pounds, your weight loss should be between 1 to 2 pounds a week. If you weigh 180 pounds, that'd be what? 0.9 to 1.8. So I think 0.5 to 1.5 a week is a very important consideration. And I thought I'd step on stage at 180, and like I said, 175 this morning. You often will weigh less than you think you might on stage. Well, that does it for the back work. We got a storm rolling in. Look at this. We actually do have a severe thunderstorm warning coming. So cardio will be inside tonight. Next, we're gonna move on to a superset of some rear delt cable flies and some barbell bicep curls, just the bar. We're gonna hit high reps here and burn it out. So let's talk macros. Like I mentioned, there's gonna be a phasic structure. You're gonna have different blocks to break down the overarching diet phase. I had 6 different diet phases within this prep, and it's based on how my weight loss moved each week. So if I noticed that over time my weight loss was stalling, then that's a cue for me to manipulate calories. I won't go into calorie manipulation because that's its whole other topic that deserves a video in itself. But it's important to establish your maintenance calories. And that's something I've talked about on the channel. There's maintenance calculators out there as well. Maintenance calories are at 3,000. You'll see the macros there. And over time, to drive the fat loss, we had to deepen the calorie deficit. So having your maintenance as a reference point is super important. Calculate that and then track the calorie changes that you make over time, and it's gonna work out great for you. It might be Forrest Gump out here because it started raining sideways into the garage. So the garage door had to go down, had to move everything inside. But the cambered bar, I do gotta say, was a nice change of pace. Nice pump off that. I might have to work that in more and more in the future. We're gonna close this training session out with a superset of the free motion lengthened cable curls, superset with some alternating dumbbell bicep curls. A little bit of long and short action there. So 3 sets, superset, maybe hit a little bit of abs, and then we're out of here. I also think for some people, having a breakdown of how many macros or calories you should have in each meal. So effectively what you can do is just take your macro totals and divide them by the number of meals you have. There is some more nuance. Once again, that's a little bit more of an in-depth process. But I think if you're new to this, seeing a breakdown of how many macros you should have in each meal is going to be super beneficial. It's something that I kind of just kept in my head as the diet progressed, but the breakdown of the macros per meal, especially if you're flexible dieting, is super clutch. Check-in photos is something I have a mixed relationship, which you'll see is why I fell off a cliff on this one. I started, look at this chunky guy, chubby guy right here. I started with progress photos, but then I felt like I looked like shit and I stopped doing that. So while I think for a lot of people that aren't bothered by this, progress photos are a great thing, it kind of got in my head, so it's not for everybody. It's something that if I were to do this again, I should have taken better progress photos. And it's not something that should bother you because it just is data. It just is facts. But for me personally, it was messing with my head, so I decided to not do that. But looking back on this is pretty cool to see where we started and how far we've came. So I'll have to try to fill in some shots that I have over the weeks, just so I have some reference points to look back on over time. Tracking your cardio or steps is potentially one of the most important pages on this document. I like tracking steps because it helps me integrate my cardio into life. Some people prefer cardio, so you can either fill it out this same way where you're tracking your daily steps, or you can basically just adapt this to fit in your cardio needs. But I had a box set up for every week. You'll see, like, let's take this week for example. I had a step goal of 13,000. I log my steps every day, and then I take the average, and as long as I'm at that average or slightly higher, that's perfect. You don't want to really crush yourself with steps or like crush yourself with cardio, because I think when you're in a calorie deficit, it can make recovery difficult. But definitely track your cardio. It's something that you've got to be on top of if you want to still have a decent amount of calorie intake to fuel your training. So tracking cardio and doing cardio cannot be understated when you're on a fat loss diet. And the part of this document that I suck the most at, you can see I barely tracked, because it's tough, man, but is sleep. Sleep is the most important variable. I know it is, and I just suck at prioritizing it because I feel like I'm trying to do everything at once. But track your sleep, people. Shoot for 7 to 9 hours a week, and you'll be golden. I'll say, like, honestly, I wasn't terrible at sleep, but I performed great off of 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and I just did not make that happen. So sleep is super important. And then the last page I have on here, if you're interested, is the breakdown of calories and water manipulation that I'm doing throughout this week. So don't follow this. It's a very low and kind of dangerous thing, but it is something that I'm doing to bring the best physique that I possibly can to the stage. But that has been the breakdown of the Excel sheet. Once again, guys, go check that out. Download the free copy and use this for your fitness goals, because free resource, and I think tracking is what a lot of people neglect. And if it isn't measured, it isn't managed, as the great Steve Hall from Revive Stronger says. So hope you get a little something out of this, and we'll go ahead and close out the video now. Well, guys, we have wrapped that garage gym pull session. Once again, this place has a long way to go, but you see the vision, and you know it's gonna be fucking epic when I get this all completed. Hopefully by the end of the month. Hoping to get a lot of time back after this competition ends. But this was episode 2 of the peak week. Hope you all had a good time checking out the workout and utilizing this Excel spreadsheet that you can go ahead and download a copy or save a copy to your Google Drive and set up for your own fitness goals. Of course, if you need help with that process, I will be taking on training and nutrition clients after the show is over. So get with me. I'd be more than happy to get on a call with you, figure out what we can get going. Go ahead and subscribe and like the video. We got episode 3 coming tomorrow, where I'll be hitting a very light pump leg session. We got to keep it light so we can recover by Saturday. And I'm going to be unveiling my individual posing routine and going into how I learned about posing, which, like you saw yesterday, is not my strong suit, but we're going to make it my strong suit by the weekend. All that being said, appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.